So hi everyone, my name is Sergej Kunz. I'm co-founder of One Each Network. It's a pleasure to stay here. I'm gonna talk about the DeFi user experience and how can be stacks
nowadays. So I will make a small introduction about some terms. Maybe some of you are not familiar with centralized exchanges, with decentralized exchanges, with DeFi at all. So that's why I try to explain first, and then we come to the to our DeFi and how can we improve that. So centralized exchanges. What is centralized exchange? This is a piece of software which is controlled by someone, by a centralized entity, which is kind of potentially regulated by regulators. This centralized exchange can block assets of your account, of someone else. Of course, there are some advantages. We have nice UX, UI. We can interact very fastly with the order book. We can buy, we can sell. We have leverage positions. Everything is nice, right? But on the other side, yeah, on the back side of the medal, we have such cases as FTX, for example. We have greedy people who are gambling with their user funds, and also banks. Yeah, recently we have seen banks. People make mistakes, and if someone can make a mistake or something it can fail, it will fail. That's why we need more efficient system, more efficient financial system and trading systems, where we have no middlemen, humans, who can become greedy and steal anything. So the current centralized, crypto-centralized finances space accounts 570 centralized exchanges, 18 billion of US dollars daily trading volume, and total trading volume of centralized exchanges back in 2022 was around 7.2 trillion of US dollars. Decentralized finances. So you have really nice advantages by using decentralized finances. You're non-custodian, you have your crypto, you own your keys, you own your crypto. You don't have to trust anyone by just using hardware wallet, for example. You have no greedy persons in between whom you have to trust. Yeah? You don't have to give someone money so they buy for you something and maybe steal your money or gamble with your money. Of course, we have risks. So we have in the panel before this presentation, we have seen security experts, and they mentioned also this hack, Euler Finance. I know these guys, really smart people, but the thing is, how already said, if something can fail, it will fail. That's why we need to reduce the complexity of the implementation of smart contracts, and it can happen. And of course, we can try to improve that by having a lot of security audits and so on and so on. But still, yeah, this is a risk in DeFi. Yeah, you can just lose all your money which you invest in one of the projects. That's why maybe diversify, but not financial advice. We have high network fees sometimes. Recently, we have seen DPEC of USDC, also issue because of centralized entities. And we have seen huge DPEC. A lot of people start to sell, huge FUD. Some people traded, bought USDC and sold afterwards with huge profit. But we have seen a lot of costs on the transactions, and normal people cannot afford to pay like $200 for one single transaction to make maybe a small trade. And of course, we have huge problem. It's a front-running problem on decentralized exchanges. Sandwich attacks, I will come to this a little bit later. So DeFi today we have 50 billion of US dollars right now value locked. So that means we have people who provided 50 billion of US dollars liquidity to decentralized exchanges. Daily DEX trading volumes around 5 billions. Actually, in the previous days, we had like 4.5 billion of US dollars volume in 24 hours on the USDC DPEC. And it's also nice to see that it works. It just works. Because there are no people in between and no intermediates. So, and yeah, total trading volume 2022, 1.2 trillions of US dollars. But if you look on the market size, we are very, very small. DeFi, like we are from DeFi, we are really small compared to the traditional finances. 13 billion DeFi market, 1 trillion crypto market, like in centralized exchanges, and 500 trillions of traditional finance. So this is our room to grow. And I'm pretty sure we will achieve this. We will grow bigger than traditional finance, where people use Excel sheets to move some funds from one bank to another bank. Yeah, and because we are more efficient, much more efficient than they have ever seen in the history. So decentralized exchanges in decentralized finances. What is this? So we have different approaches. We started in decentralized finances on Ethereum. We have seen order books based DEXs. We have seen ETHDelta. We have seen 0x with the first limit order protocol. AirSwap guys with some market makers behind them. Oasis app, which was fully on chain. And we see also our 1-inch limit order protocol from 1-inch, which is the leader on the market already. And this was achieved like in one and a half years after the release. Yeah, because it's highly efficient than everything else out there. We have it's a modular system. You can write own extension and save on the security audits. And it's also super optimized also for RFQ orders with market makers, for example. We have liquidity-based DEXs. First ever liquidity protocol banker. Uniswap came after that with a kind of better approach by not using ERC20 token for kind of as a connector token. They introduced just Ethereum to something else, Ethereum to another token, which was more efficient than the banker guys did. And of course, Uniswap V2, Uniswap V3, really great innovation from our point of view. Balancer V1, V2, also great innovation from our point of view for portfolio management, and Curve, stable tokens, liquidity pools which are optimized for stable tokens. And of course we have aggregators. We from 1inch, I and my co-founder, we came to this idea back in 2019 on Ethereum New York hackathon. So we just found out that maybe it makes sense to exchange on multiple DEXs at the same time to achieve the best rate by using algorithm. And we did it. And at the beginning, it was just exchanging on one market, like Ethereum to DAI, or what was there, I don't know anymore. And we just used multiple DEXs. We split it between Uniswap V1, Banker, and Kyber network. Yeah. But the art of the aggregation nowadays is much more complex. We see a lot of liquidity sources. Right now we have on Ethereum 25,000 liquidity sources, 25,000 smart contracts. We have a lot of market makers who provide a good amount of liquidity, and the algorithm needs to do more than just to split. So here you see this is a min cost max flow algorithm which use multiple markets in between to exchange Ethereum to CUSDT, for example, compound USDT. So Pathfinder of 1inch can wrap, unwrap, do a lot of things, what is necessary for the user. So you see maybe a part should be exchanged on Uniswap, on SushiSwap to DAI. From DAI we go to USDT, and then we go to CUSDT. In parallel we exchange to USDC, and then we go to USDT, and together we exchange to compound. So this is kind of very complex thing. For the first approach, I came to the idea together with my co-founder Anton Bukov in end of 2020, I guess. So we released it in a month, this new algorithm with a nice, good approach. We have risks in DeFi, I already mentioned. We have front-running attacks. This is really a huge problem. When you send a transaction and you would like to exchange something on decentralized exchange like Uniswap, so after you send the transaction, you run in the and the risk that someone see this transaction, exchange before you and exchange after you, front run you, so we call it sandwich. You are sandwiched. Yeah. The sandwich attacks, how I already explained, attacker buys before you, sells after you, and takes profit after that, after your transaction executed. $1.5 billion of US dollars were lost by such attacks. Yeah? And this is around 10% of the transactions back into 2022. So, so we have two ways right now. Thank you to our art director. They drew it like in 2 hours before the conference. We have two ways. We have if you go left, you face the turning path. If you go right, you achieve really great results. And I'm going to start about the left part, the left side. This is the side when you go to SushiSwap, when you go to Uniswap and exchange by yourself. You make the transaction and you face the sandwich attack, for sure. So, and this looks like that, yeah? You get an airdrop maybe in USDC. You need to pay gas to give an approval. Most of the DEXs, you don't know where to exchange it. You need to spend time, resources to find out where's the best rate. Yeah? Depends, of course, of the amount. Maybe small amounts can be easily exchanged on Uniswap because there's good concentrated liquidity. But at the end, you have to spend a lot of time. And this every time when you exchange. Then you have to trust this project. Is there a new DEX? Maybe not audited. You put the money, like you exchange on the DEX and you lose money potentially because there's a vulnerability in the smart contract. So, and the other way is, we call it our one-inch fusion, which is a different approach. We turn it around. You're not the taker anymore. You're not doing the transaction. You don't send it to the mempool and that someone see it. You are the maker. You're that someone who just create a limit order. This is a special limit order which we introduced with the new one-inch limit order protocol in the last version. It used algo order approach. It used Dutch auction, which is not linear. Actually, my guys call it Kunzianer. Kunz, my show name. And I came to approach how to execute more efficient by just applying specific algorithm. I will show you after this slide. So in this path, on the right side with the unicorn and rainbows, we just give an approval, like in terms of permit of USDC if the token supports it. Otherwise, the approval goes to a smart contract which is also audited by more than 10 security companies for a lot of money. And the user just have to sign an order, just a message, which is distributed in one-inch network. And this message allows professional market makers to execute the trade for the user. So, and the one-inch fusion allows you zero-cost transaction. So that means you don't pay for the gas. You just send a message and send it to the one-inch network. It's distributed among the market makers. And arbitrage traders, we call them resolvers. We have 10 resolvers who have to stake one-inch tokens or get the delegates to get the unicorn power to become the top 10 resolvers to perform these interactions. It protects you from front-running attacks. No one can just front-run you, swap before you and swap after you, because the user is the maker, not the taker anymore. And we have multi-thread swaps. This is very important. You don't have to wait for the second trade until the first trade is executed. That means you can just execute 10 trades in parallel, and they are completely executed in asynchronous manner by professional traders. So normally when you send a transaction in Ethereum or like Phantom or whatever else, you need to wait until the transaction is done to make another interaction. Of course, you can have a queue, but anyway, this transaction needs to be executed after each other. So in this approach, which we choose, you can just trade. You can sell, buy all the time, and you don't have to wait for anything. How it works in terms of how the order looks like, you see this curve. Until the middle, we are extending it in the next version, make it more complex. But right now, until the half of the time, so the order takes like 6 minutes maximum. So in this time, we try to set a limit order which contains a curve. This curve is the rate curve for which the user would like to sell the tokens. So it starts on a zero price impact. In the middle, we face the current market rate for the whole amount. For example, you exchange 10,000 Ethereum to USDC. And if you do it just on the market, like you do it on a Uniswap, on SushiSwap, DEX, or you're using CowSwap, or you're using the 0x aggregator, you just execute it on the market, and you face a price impact, potentially up to 5% for 10,000 Ethereum trade right now. So, and it can be improved by an algo order. So the order starts in a Dutch auction manner from zero impact. So we get really the current market rate just for maybe $1 of the token. And then we go to the full price impact in just three minutes. In these 3 minutes, you can see a lot of partial fills happened. That means someone is exchanging a little bit, and after that, we can recognize some back running. So that means if someone exchanged a little bit and moved the price on Ethereum a little bit below the current market price compared to centralized exchanges, other networks, arbitrage traders start to rebalance the price and the liquidity. They start to arbitrage it and move maybe some funds to Ethereum and improve the price. That's why we decided to do this approach. Actually, this approach is taken also by OTC traders. When someone would like to liquidate a huge amount of money.
And one out of the few, the market makers liquidate their over weeks potentially, or maybe months, maybe hours, depends on the topic, to avoid such huge price. We do the same in 6 minutes. It makes sense. Really, it makes sense. You click on the statistics, the application dashboards, on the liquid analytics. Also, if you're watching it, take a look at the execution transactions. The rate that they had after all the partial fills is better than the market rates, or if you just choose swap on the market liquidity. So
this is just one of our first steps in the direction to improve the user experience in terms of the user shouldn't care about transactions, blockchains at all from our point of view. The user should just send sign a permissions, and someone who is very experienced in executing on blockchain, like market makers, arbitrage traders, we call them resolvers, should execute it. This is already said, the first step for us. The trades are now on 1 inch, are protected from front-running attacks, from sandwich attacks, get the best execution, even better than we had before. The user just execute by themselves as a taker. And the next step would be potentially, from our point of view, we should introduce a protocol which allows every DApp to do the same for everything. For example, if I stake something on 1 inch network, I don't want to wait until the transaction is mined. Maybe it takes like an hour because I choose this low gas price because I don't want to pay $50, right? So I don't care. So that the transaction is executed just in minutes. It can be executed in 1 hour. Then maybe something like Gelato can be used as a network for the execution, or something what we potentially plan to develop. A small protocol which allows everyone to send meta transaction, I call them, in a network, and professional executors execute these interactions with the blockchains. That's all about the 1 inch and our ideas, how we can improve. If you have any questions, you can come to me. If you want to learn more about 1 inch, go to subscribe our Twitter account. You get all the news, what's happening out there. We have Discord, we have Telegram, and of course we have our GitHub. Everything what we publish is open source under MIT license, so you are able to fork, to copy it, take care about the copyright for sure. I just mentioned that where you got the code, yeah, that's all. And build your own solution on top of 1inch network. We have a lot of protocols, limit order protocol, our aggregation protocol, our Fusion, the new thing. You can integrate it everywhere by using the SDK. So yeah, that's all. Thank you very much. And if you have any questions, go ahead. Any questions?
Any questions?
No questions. All right, good. When Moon? Fusion is already available for integration, yes. It was released from 24th to 25th of December. It was like Christmas gift to the community. And it took a little bit of time to implement the SDK, but it's already there, so you can just integrate it. It's very easy, a small library which you can use.
Hi, I got a question. This is Alex from Dragonfly. We do MEV sort of data analytics. It's very interesting. You mentioned about sandwich attack, and then which is something that we are doing research on. I think the question I want to ask is because you mentioned about Fusion and you use the Dutch auction to do the price discovery. I wonder because you mentioned that there's a time window which is 6 minutes, if I hear correctly. So I wonder, I mean, if in the case of you know, like the recent USDC depegging, the price of the market is fluctuating like dramatically. I mean, what would happen to the price during this 6 minutes window, right? If, as from the end user's perspective, right? And then if I wanted to make that trade, especially during this the price is you know, fluctuating dramatically. I wanted to get that trade executed as soon as possible instead of, you know, wait for 6 minutes to confirm. Is there anything that you guys wanted to do later on to improve that? I mean, mechanism, or how do you? Would you advise people to, you know, trade in a different way in that situation? Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for the question. When the price is moving up and down, of course, if here in this case would dump, yeah, the price, so you would be out of the range, right? Because this range is set on the transmission time, and it would just expire because no one would feel it. You know, because your order is just is really worse for the arbitrage traders and market makers. You can cancel it. Because of the security reasons, you have to do a transaction to cancel it. You need to pay the gas costs for the cancellation, but it's just because of the security, to ensure that the user don't lose money. If the price goes up in terms of like when you sell something and the price goes up, you would be immediately filled. So your trade would be executed immediately because it's very nice rate what you want actually, what you send to the network. So on one side, like it can take up to 6 minutes. So you see, and after the half, we go down to the mean return amount, which is normally the market price by taking into account the price impact minus gas costs, current market gas costs for this execution, and the maximum price impact what you accept. And this is by default, like for non-stable token pairs, 50 bips, and for stable token, 5 bips. But you can set it also on the front end. You have free hands for that.
All right, thank you, Sergey. And if anyone else has any questions, you can talk to Sergey at the back of the hall to connect.
One more question here, I guess.
Oh,
Thank you. Thanks, Sergey. I actually used 1inch for quite a long time, and I would say it's probably the most advanced technology in the market right now, which is great. The Fusion mode we've also used in our company because we trade thousands and thousands of ETH every day. The question is, when we use the Fusion mode, it comes up as a fail sometimes during the length of 6 minutes, sometimes even 9 minutes, because when you do the multiple trades happening with altcoins and Ethereum, for example, or stable coins, you have quite a few in the queue, and what happens is some of them are getting executed, and some of them are getting failed. And obviously, what was mentioned by the gentleman before, it creates the constant problem for the trader who wants to take an advantage of the price. So how do you warn the user in advance that that transaction possibly can get failed?
So the transaction cannot fail. The order can expire, and you don't pay any gas costs. So if you go to Uniswap and you send a transaction, this transaction can fail, and you have to pay the gas costs. In Fusion, you just send a message that you are okay to exchange for specific rates with someone of the professional market makers. So you don't pay any gas costs. And of course, it's happened that the price moves out of the range. And in this case, you need just to place maybe another order. You don't have to cancel actually, because after 6 minutes it expires and cannot be used anymore. You can just create a new order which is more profitable for the market maker potentially, or it's just based on the current market execution rates. We have different modes. By default, we have kind of auto selection mode. We have fast, fair, and auction. Fast is executed in 3 minutes, fair in 6 minutes, and auction in 10 minutes. Auction starts above the market with 1% plus. Fast just try to execute, try to meet the current market rates with a small arbitrage opportunity for the resolvers. So, and fair is just something between, little bit above the market with the price starts, and it is executed in 6 minutes by using the market liquidity rates.
Where do you actually adjust the settings? Is it in advanced settings, or you just have to increase the slippage, or how do you customize that execution process?
So right now the custom mode is not yet implemented. It's coming very, very soon. We have just 3 presets. The presets are based on some analytics results from the core contributors, and also based on the algorithm, the Pathfinder algorithm, which knows for which liquidity, for which amount of liquidity, which rates are existing on the market and can be taken. That's why you see this curve, yeah, it's not linear at all, which goes to the rates which are right now available on the market. Yeah, and about also institutionals and companies who would like to use the Fusion mode, it's fully accessible also through Gnosis Safe. So it's also very nice. So if you exchange on Gnosis Safe on Uniswap, you get front run for sure. And if you have to exchange huge amount of money, it makes maybe sense to use the Fusion mode. Thanks.